it appears that we may be closer to a vaccine, which is great because right now we're actually having an incredibly bad time dealing with the coronavirus. Over 122,000 people have been dying a day. We've hit over 10 million cases as we've been, of course, distracted by the elections. And so it's important to note that coronavirus is not gone. It hasn't gone away. But a vaccine, well, let's just say that it would be very, very helpful. In fact, Bloomberg is reporting that the COVID-19 vaccine developed by Pfizer and BioNTech SE had, quote, prevented more than 90% of infections in a study of tens of thousands of volunteers. Well, that's awesome. Bloomberg News reporters Robert Landgraf, Naomi Kretsch, and Riley Griffin explain that the preliminary results paved the way for the companies to seek an emergency use authorization from the FDA. If further research shows that the shot is also safe. The findings of the study, they know, are based on an interim analysis conducted after 94 participants contracted COVID-19 out of a subset of tens of thousands. So, meaning, basically, if this continues to hold, 9 out of 10 people who take the vaccine will not get COVID. Well, that's awesome. That would basically create herd immunity, and then we could go back to living our lives. Awesome. So now, if this continues to pan out, then that's excellent news. And it is very possible that, again, if this continues to hold, by next year, there could be enough vaccine for everybody. And there is assurances right now that it would be free for everybody. So that would be the end of the pandemic. Super. That said, the brain trust over at Fox and Friends decided that they would create a new conspiracy around what should actually make a lot of Americans feel hope again, that the end of the pandemic is near. In fact, let's take a look at that.
Are you finding the timing curious? We had an election a week ago.
I am finding the timing curious. It's frustrating. You know, it's so interesting. I was watching, toggling around TV yesterday, watching a couple games or whatever, and I saw a commercial for 60 Minutes, and they said, we're going to go into the military's Operation Warp Speed. The militaries, they're actually operating it, in fact, at the behest of President Trump. And then there's an article this morning before this came out they're shifting sort of Operation Warp Speed to Biden now. The Washington Post, Biden advisors met with the Warp Speed drug makers before the election. But what I thought was intriguing is on the Biden website, it says Operation Warp Speed lacks a strategy to see its mission through and gain the trust of Americans. Well, I wonder what they're going to say today. Are they going to tell people not to take this vaccine that Pfizer is saying is 90% effective? Or are they going to say, wait? I mean, this is absolutely remarkable stuff. Credit where credit is due. President Trump, he really did push hard on this. Who knows, if it came a week earlier, it might have changed the outcome. But it is great news for all Americans.
All right. Man, you see the timing. Look at the timing. Oh, man. Did they release this in order to, sabotage Donald Trump? Why couldn't they have released it a week earlier? Oh, man, it would have changed the election, maybe. Look, they don't have to come out and say it, but it's kind of the implication that, Big Pharma working against Donald Trump because Donald Trump wanted to lower prescription drug prices. But wait, so do the Democrats. So they say. In reality, neither party has done anything about lowering prescription drug prices. I remember when Cory Booker got dragged for saying, we can't import cheaper drugs from Canada. Can't do it. Nope, they're not as safe. Bullshit, they're the same. They're the same drugs and the same safety standards that were manufactured here and then get sent to other governments, other countries. Ridiculous, right? And so, look, both parties tend to have a pretty bad relationship, and I mean bad for us, with the pharmaceutical industry because they pump tons and tons of money into candidates, Democratic candidates as well. And so we don't know if Joe Biden's actually going to do anything to try to lower drug prices or not. But we know that Donald Trump had a chance to do something, and he didn't do anything either. But that said, you know exactly the reaction they are doing for, that they were going for. That said, did Donald Trump do something called Operation Warp Speed? Yeah, he did. That did give some corporations a lot of money. Did Pfizer take that money? No. Pfizer's head of vaccine development, Dr. Catherine Jansen, told the New York Times that, quote, "We were never part of the Warp Speed. We have never taken any money from the U.S. government or from anyone." I'll get back to that. All right. Now, Jansen also explained the timing of the news release to the Times. Quote, she said she learned of the results from the outside panel of experts shortly after 1 p.m. on Sunday, and that the timing was not influenced by politics, by the election. "We have always said that science is driving how we conduct ourselves, no politics." Okay. Some of what she said, not exactly true. First off, the data released by Pfizer was a news release, not a peer-reviewed medical journal. So understand, this is what the company is saying. And companies do have a penchant to do a little puffery. And so, in reality, we don't necessarily know 100% that the vaccine is safe and effective, other than the study that needs to get expanded a little bit more. And the efficacy of the vaccine could change as the trial goes on and gets more participants in it, right? In fact, Jesse Goodman, professor of medicine and infectious diseases at Georgetown, said this: "We need to see the actual data, and we're going to need longer-term results." So, obviously, more testing, more waiting, that pushes back the availability of the drug. And again, it's not even a 100% thing. And right now, it's puffering. It's marketing. That said, are they onto something? Is there a reason to be hopeful? Sure, there is. As for Pfizer not getting any money, while it's true that they didn't actually get Operation Warp Speed money, they actually have received a lot of taxpayer money. According to Senator Chris Murphy, FYI, a lot of people are tweeting about how Pfizer didn't accept government money for the vaccine. That's not true. HHS actually did a $2 billion deal with Pfizer to guarantee a market for the vaccine. And then he goes on to say how that makes Pfizer's R&D spend more viable, and saying that this is just a classic example of a private-public partnership. And so, okay. So basically, they were not part of the Operation Warp Speed program. They didn't get that money, but they did receive money from HHS. And so the fact that they say, "Oh, we haven't taken any government money or taxpayer money," complete and utter bullshit. Again, along with the puffery. That said, this could be this could end up being something that is incredibly beneficial. As Vox explains, Pfizer and BioNTech are using a new approach for their virus vaccine. And apparently it involves using mRNA, which involves genetic material, which doesn't necessarily work the same as traditional vaccines, which tend to use a weakened form of a live virus in order to boost your body's defenses against it. Instead, the mRNA approach, actually, what it does is that when it's introduced into your body, it basically has genetic instructions. The human cells read those instructions, manufacture the fragment of the virus, and the immune system then identifies it and builds up protection against it. So it works a little bit differently than traditional vaccines. We've never done that before. And it's right now, the 90% is pretty encouraging, although, again, that number could go down as more people are tested. And so we want to make sure that it gets tested. We want to make sure that the results are safe before we end up getting approval. And I actually do trust Biden's FDA a little bit more than I would Trump's. That said, we need to probably wait for a while yet before, so that it gets proven to be safe and effective before we take it. That said, as far as Fox News is concerned, projecting more conspiracy theories, as always, because guess what? It's what they do. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.